What's good, Modern Retro Show fam? Teacher Eddie back with another video. Today we're doing Dear Anxiety by Clayton Jennings. So this was a big request on the Discord and in the comments because a lot of us are dealing with mental health issues, including myself, and the Discord has been a huge help and comfort for myself as well as many others. So if you haven't joined yet, please check out the Discord. It is a safe place. It is a safe space where you don't have to feel alone. And I'm going to be honest and straight up. Like I said, I don't edit these videos. I don't plan, what I'm going to say in these videos. Whatever I say is just whatever's coming off the top of the dome. But also that I share, the scars as well as the smiles. And the last 24 hours has been rough. And I just couldn't find a reason or the will to get out of bed today until like 5 p.m. I canceled my morning classes, my afternoon classes. Even though I wanted to get out of bed, I needed to get out of bed. I just couldn't find the motivation because my brain was just telling me, you got nothing to offer anybody. Nobody cares what you have to say. You're absolutely meaningless. Just stay in bed, son. There's nothing for you out there. Who the hell are you? Who the F are you that anybody should care about what you have to say? You're as big a mess, if not more screwed up than anyone out there. So why? And I taught my evening class at 6 o'clock. But like I said, I couldn't get out of bed till 5. I dragged myself up and my mind was just, I felt like I was just floating. They describe it sometimes, like ginger ale in your head. It just, everything's just popping and you have no clue what's going on and you feel so out of control. So I felt like this was the perfect time to do this video. I've never heard Clayton Jennings before. So of course I don't know what the song is about, but from the title itself, I pretty much have an idea. So I thought that, definitely this is something I could speak on, especially today.
I wake up, puddle of sweat. I have nightmares and I get back into bed. It's like these voices just keep playing on repeat in the back of my head, and I can't get them to leave me alone. 30 years old, but still hates being alone when I'm home, because that's when the voices get the loudest. Opening up like this is a moment far from my proudest, but these demons keep pressing me, I swear they're the foulest. But I've grown comfortable with their presence, my conscience is calloused. My dreams are their playground, my thoughts are their palace. I try to evict them, they return with more.
I try to evict them and they return with more, man. Powerful stuff. I mean, this is exactly what it feels like. We had somebody on the Discord today, but they were bounced real quick. It's so hard for anyone to understand what somebody goes through unless you've been there. And this person came in and started, telling people in the mental health section that, oh, well, we all deal with depression. You just have to get over it. Don't you have willpower? And, it's that type of nonsense advice. It's that type of depression is just a passing cloud. It just comes and goes type advice. It's so hard for people who don't understand it to understand what you're going through, because they think of depression as, yeah, there's a depression. There's a type of depression where, something happens in your life, it affects you, and yeah, you get over it. But then there's a type of depression, a clinical type of depression, where you can't just get over it. That clinical type of depression is your brain working against you, not with you. You are not in control. Like I've said before, your brain is like Bane, right? In Dark Knight Rises. Your brain is just basically putting its hand on your shoulder and saying, do you feel in control? Because you're not. And those feelings of, yeah, especially when he was talking about loneliness, And we feel lonely, or at least I feel lonely, and I want people in my life, and I don't want to feel alone, but at the same time, I want to be alone. If it makes any sense, it probably makes sense to a lot of people who deal with these types of issues. It makes absolute sense, but it's hard to describe to somebody else. Like, well, why don't you just go and hang out with your friends? Why don't you go and speak to somebody? Because my brain is telling me that I'm worthless. My brain is like he's saying right here, I try to evict them, but they return with more. It is that lack of control that's hard for people to understand who don't deal with it. And I'm going to be straight up and honest. When I was much younger, before I started dealing with these issues, when I was a teenager, I would always look at people who say, you know, they're depressed and they can't get out of bed and they don't even have the motivation to shower, and be like, what is wrong with you, man? Just get up. Until I had to start dealing with these issues.
Anxiety isn't an item you can return at the store. I was 10 the first time I had a panic attack. Like a punch to the stomach, there's no planning for that. And I didn't tell anyone because I was too scared about what they'd say. And I know deep down there was nothing they could do to take it away. It was my fight to fight.
Yeah, that is so true. It's we've spoken about this before. And asking for help, and people are like, well, you know, I'm always here for you, man. Whenever you need me, just reach out. And we appreciate that. And thank you for that. But asking for help is so hard. It is so hard because for myself, I don't want to burden other people with my problems. I don't want to seem weak. I don't want to be judged by other people. But also because when you do speak to other people, that's why the Discord has been such a comfort for me and for many others, is because it allows us to speak to people who understand what we're going through. And my goal with the Discord was to create a community. Again, it's not just for mental health issues. We have over 100 different channels. But for people who are going through something in life, to not feel like they're alone, because we feel like we're alone so many times. But there are so many people who are going through exactly what we're going through. And it's a comfort just to be around them. Not even talking about, you know, advice and all this other stuff, but just to know somebody else like you is out there. Whether you are transitioning, whether you are gay and feel like you can't come out to your family, whatever, you know, identity you have that you feel like nobody's going to understand, whether you're non-binary, whether you're cis, whatever it is, that there's somebody out there going through what you're going through or has gone through what you've gone through, and you could share with them. And then, you know, also just having fun with people. I mean, our voice chats are just absolutely amazing. And we have channels for movies and everything else, but people feel comfortable, like this is a safe space for me. And it's so hard to find that in life. And you feel like it's your fight and my battle to face, like he's saying here. But you don't have to go it alone. But it is hard to find people who do accept you and don't judge you or tell you something like, get over it. You know, it's a mindset and all these different things. And people get triggered when I say, you know, it's difficult to speak from a level of expertise on something when you haven't experienced it. And people are like, what? I can still give my opinion. You can give an opinion, but don't feel like you could treat people. Don't feel like you are a psychologist or a psychiatrist and you can fix someone, because you can't understand it unless you've lived it. But I'm not saying your opinion is invalid. But you also have to understand that it's difficult to speak on something, even if it's something you've been studying your entire life. I've studied race relations, women's studies, but I don't know what it's like to be a woman in the world. I've never experienced it. I can speak on it based on a historic understanding of it and data and everything else, but can I truly speak to a woman and say, I understand what you're going through? No, I cannot.
In my battle to face, I remember that house I grew up in and how those demons would rattle that place. I'd lay awake at night just staring at the ceiling. I've spent my whole life trying to run from that feeling of being lonely, that feeling of being lost, that feeling of being sick when the lights turn off, that feeling of being depressed, that feeling of being anxious, that feeling of screaming to God, begging him to take this, only to get silence in return. I'd lay in that bed crying and I'd toss and I'd turn, and I turn and I toss to this day. The doctors gave me medication, the pastor said pray. I tried both and this anxiety still hasn't gone away. So forgive me if I fantasize about being gone today. I'm an actor who got really good at being on today, but when I turn off, I go right back into the
Oh, right there. That's gospel. That is gospel
shadows.
Right there. Hold on. I'm an actor who got really good at being on today. I can relate to this so much. It's, you know, like say for just today, right? Like I was saying, I was dead to the world. And at 6 o'clock, I had an evening class. Like I said, I canceled my morning and afternoon because I just couldn't. I was not going to be able to function. But as soon as 6 p.m. hit and my students entered the room, I went from here to, hey kids, what's going on today? How's everybody's weekend? Right? Playing that part, putting on that smile, giving that energy, even though it is taking everything out from inside of me. Inside, I feel like I'm dying, but putting on that smile, being strong for other people, that becomes, again, you know, another mask we have to wear.
Actor who got really good at being on today, but
when I turn off, I go right back. So as soon as the class was over, I just, like a balloon, just deflated right afterwards, and everything, my heart began to, you know, race. My mind, went back to all those dark thoughts, and I can relate to this so much. I know a lot of you can as well. We do that all the time, especially when people are like, hey man, how you doing? Is everything okay? And again, you don't want to be that burden. You don't want to seem weak. So, man, everything's great today. What are you talking about, man? Accomplishing stuff today, right? But inside you're like, oh my God, I want to yell at the world. I want to punch the world in the face, right? I don't want to even talk to you right now. But we put on that front, you know, and that gives a lot of people almost a validation when they're like, man, see, I told them, man, that depression ain't nothing. See, just get over that, man. Ain't no big deal. Just will yourself. Use that willpower.
turn off, I go right back into the shadows. I'm in the deep end now, but I started in the shallows, and I might just drown myself in these waves. Suburban hell, these homes are all graves. Everyone's coping with something but won't admit it, they're all too afraid. And these kids are glued to watching me, what do I say? If I'm honest with them, maybe they won't think highly of me. Everything they want me to be is what I'm dying to be, but everything I really am is what I'm not trying to be.
It's like he's speaking to me, but then again, there's so many people out there in the same boat. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to go it alone. You just have to find a community or people that will accept you as you are and not try to fix you or change you and force you to be someone you're not, but someone who understands what you're going through and can help you, because there is no fix. No matter how many medications you take, no matter how many therapists you see, it is a day-to-day battle. It is one day at a time. It is no different than any other addiction or behavior that you are not in control of, whether you're an alcoholic, whether you're a workaholic, whether you are dealing with anxiety, depression, whatever it is. It's so hard to not want to be, like he's saying, everything that they want you to be. But I just have gotten to the point where I am who I am. And if you like it, great. Welcome aboard, fam. If you don't, that is not my problem anymore. Whether it's something as trivial as people who don't like that I pause videos too much. You don't like it? Guess what? There's 1,000 other creators you can go watch, but I will not kowtow and pretend to be someone I am not, or do something that I don't feel comfortable doing just because you say so. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem, son. You got plenty of other choices. Oh, that's why your subscriber count isn't growing. That's why your views are low. You think I give a crap? I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it so other people know that they don't have to be alone. I am doing it so I can help people. get through what they're getting through and not have to deal with it like I had to deal with it, so they can at least learn from my mistakes, because mistakes are amazing teachers. Failure is the best teacher in life, as Master Yoda would say, right? So sharing those and trying to help others avoid them as much as possible is what I strive to do. And if you don't like it, or if you don't like that I'm open and honest, or you don't like the way I edit my videos, or you don't like what I say, it is what it is. Deal with it or don't, but it ain't my problem.
I want them to know that they're not alone in their struggles. I wake up in tears and fall back asleep in those puddles, and I don't think I'll ever get out of this valley I'm in. Terrified that all along God has tallied my sins, and if he has, the number must be astronomical. My life is a joke and you keep reading just past the comic, because everything you think that I am is far from the truth. I wish I could open up to you and just let loose, but my vocal cords get tight when the devil pulls on this noose, and then I'm back to keeping everything bottled up inside. But he's not gonna keep me from pulling the throttle back this time. He's not gonna keep me trapped like this. I can't get out of bed, I was never made to act like this. I'm packing up my bags and he can't stop me from running fast like this. I'm not gonna be a slave to these voices of anxiety. I'm shoving the devil back for every time that he lied to me, and I'm taking a belt to these demons who whisper despair in my ear, and I'm ignoring every naysayer who stands and stares when I'm near. I'm moving forward out of this slump. I took my bruises, I took my lumps. I fell down, but I got right back up. So give me a torch and let's light that up. I'm setting fire to the devil and I'm dousing these demons in gasoline. Look at you now. Now you're not laughing at me. Now who's the one who's being tortured and punked? Now who's the one closing every door that I want? Now who's the one watching the other burn to the ground? Don't look away from me. You better turn back around. I'm not done talking to you now. I'm watching your moves. I'm on your back and I'm stalking you too. And when you try to ruin some other kid's life, I'll be stopping you too. You took 30 years of my life and I can't get that back. You told me to end my life and I nearly got killed for that. You took me down but I bounced right back. I was lost then and I got found like that. And everything you told me I wasn't, someone new told me I was. And everything you hated in me, someone new told me he loves. And when you tried to kill me with depression and anxiety, he reached in and placed hope deep inside of me. So I'm done listening to you and letting you control me. I'm announcing it now that the devil can't hold me. I'm walking away from the old me, and I'm demanding a refund on every lie that you sold me. You knew I'd find a way out sooner or later, and I found my escape in the form of a savior.
Yeah, man. Definitely please support Clayton Jennings. I'm going to leave the original link in the description, but please, 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 I've already subscribed, gave him that like, and mad props to Clayton Jennings for this, because this speaks to me, this speaks to so many people who are dealing with the same stuff. And again, it's savior does not have to be, you know, like many people will think, like finding your God or religion or faith or whatever it is. Your savior can just be another person. Your savior can be behavior, you know, changes. Your savior can be listening to a song that invokes some kind of positive emotion. There are many different saviors out there. So it's a matter of finding yours, whether it's a person, it's a community, in life, online, whatever it is. But finding, because you don't have to go through it alone. Like we were discussing the other day, and I mentioned like a few people, you know, it's so hard to really dig through all the stuff we think is what's making us depressed and dig to those root causes. And it's something that takes a long time to do. And doing it alone is very hard. Can it be done? Of course it can. But if you have someone that you can bounce your thoughts off of, who just sits there and at least just listens to you. Sometimes I need to talk to somebody and I don't need them to talk back to me. I just need them to hear what I say, and just by having someone there, I come to certain realizations. So that's my, that's my take on things. If you agree, that's great. If you don't, you have every right to do so. But know that no matter what, I'm here for you. Our fam is here for you. Our community is here for you. And if you ever need that help, just join the Discord, like I said. You don't even have to talk. You don't even have to, you could just lurk, just look around. And we have so many people on there who said, you know, I joined this community and I never thought I would share anything, but just reading all these messages and these people sharing their stories, I just couldn't help but, and taking small steps. We've had people who've revealed themselves in voice chats on camera who've said in years and years and years, I have never thought that I would ever be comfortable enough. So the community is here, fam. I'm here for you. We're here for you. And there is good out there, and you don't have to go it alone. I love you guys, and as always, going to shout out the Patreons, and I'll see you on the next one. And as always, we're shouting out our Patreons who keep the things running here, starting with the Chancellors, Biker Dude, Wouter, Chris, Jumpin' with E, Phoenix, the Principals, James R, Spacey Doodle, Elena G, Ulrike, Nick, Lauren, Clement, Vijandra, Monica Kadi, Alan, Chad, Alex, Baba Mama, Aaron Shepard, Big J, Jobina, Christopher, Dallas Eager, Freeman, Nathan, Rasmus, a Viking Nerd, and Kevin G. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll see you next time.